Hello everyone, this is Harrison Galway, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to fill out the unit circle. This is something that, is an intimidating topic and can cause a lot of anxiety and difficulty, but I think that it's probably easier than you think, so hopefully this will be helpful. So the first thing to know is that the reason why it's called the unit circle is because the radius is 1, like uno. So the unit circle has a radius of 1. And the first thing we'll do here is we'll fill out the angles, starting with the degree measures. So we always start measuring angles from here, from the positive x-axis. So we're going to put 0 degrees here because we haven't yet gone anywhere. So the 0 degrees. And if you do a full rotation all the way around, we all know that's 360 degrees. So that'll be in the same place as 0. Halfway to 360 is 180. So that'll be over here. Halfway to 180 is 90. So that'll be up here. And then a third of the way to 90 is 30. So that'll be our angle that we have here. And halfway to 90 is 45. So we'll have that right here. Now, the next thing we'll do is we're going to just keep adding 30 each time to get the next angle, right? So we're going to go in increments of 30. Now, what that means is we're going to, add 30 and add another 30 and add another 30. And notice we skip this middle angle. So every time we add 30, we're going to keep going around, but we'll be skipping these middle angles as we do that. So let me show you what I mean. We have 1 times 30, then 2 times 30, that's 60. 3 times 30 we already have. 4 times 30 is 120. Then we skip this middle one, right? We're going by 30, so we skip the middle. And so then adding another 30, that's 150. Adding another 30, well, we already have that, that's 180. And another 30 is 210. Another 30 is 240. Notice I'm skipping that middle angle. Another 30 is 270. Another 30 is 300. Skip the middle angle again. Another 30 is 330 and 360. So we've gone all the way around. Now we're going to get those middle ones by doing something very similar. Rather than going by 30, we're going to go by 45. So here we have 1 times 45, 2 times 45, 3 times 45. So we're going to add 45 again to get 135. Then we're going to add 45 again. Oh, we already have that. That's 180. Another 45 brings us to the next middle angle. So that would be 225. Another 45 gives us 270. I already have it. And then another 45 gives us 315. And so done with all of our degree measures. Now the next thing we'll do is another way to measure angles is by using radians rather than degrees. And while a full rotation is 360 degrees, a full rotation is also 2 pi radians. So while this would be, if we start here, we haven't rotated at all, that's 0 radians. But as we said before, a full rotation is 2 pi radians. Well then, in the same way we did before, half of that would be 1 pi radians. Half of that would be pi over 2 radians. A third of that, just like we did before, a third of pi over 2 is pi over 6. So we'll put that right here. And a half of pi over 2 is pi over 4. So that'll go right here. So when we did the degrees, the first thing we did was we kept doing multiples of 30. We did 1 times 30, 2 times 30, 3 times 30, 4 times 30, and so forth. we'll do the same thing, but now we're going to go in multiples of pi over 6, which is, after all, the same thing as 30. So this is 1 pi over 6. And just like before, we'll skip the middle angles for now. So this is 1 pi over 6, then 2 pi over 6, but we'll have to simplify that. And 2 pi over 6 simplifies to pi over 3. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. We have 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, already got it. 4 pi over 6, that simplifies to 2 pi over 3. So that was 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, 5 pi over 6. Remember, we skipped those middle angles, so 5 pi over 6. Next is 6 pi over 6, but we already have that. Then 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6, which simplifies to 4 pi over 3. 9 pi over 6, which simplifies to 3 pi over 2. 10 pi over 6, which simplifies to 5 pi over 3. And 11 pi over 6. And so now we just have those middle angles to fill out with radians. And if you remember, when we were doing degrees, we handled those middle angles by just doing multiples of 45. This was 1 times 45, 2 times 45, 3 times 45, 4 times 45, and so forth. So we'll do the same thing with radians. 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. All right, so that's it. That's all of the angles in both degrees and radians. The only thing left for us to do now is to fill out the coordinates of all these points on the edge of the unit circle, on its perimeter or circumference. So in order to do this, there are 4 really easy ones. Remember, it's called the unit circle because it has a radius of 1. So if we're thinking about the coordinates of this point, well, it's 1 away from the origin. And so the coordinates, well, the x-coordinate here would be 1, because we're going 1 to the right, and the y-coordinate would be 0. We didn't have to go up and down at all. So the coordinates of this point here are, let's use a different color. The coordinates of this point are 1, 0. In a similar vein, the coordinates of this point are, well, we didn't have to go left and right at all to get from the origin to this point. So the x-coordinate is 0, but the y-coordinate is 1, because the radius of the unit circle is 1. This point over here, well, this time we're going left. So it would be -1 for the x-coordinate, but we don't have to go up and down at all. So the y-coordinate is 0. And finally, this coordinate down here, we don't have to go left and right at all, so the x-coordinate is 0, but we have to go down 1, so the y-coordinate would be -1. Remember, anything to the left or down is negative, whereas up and right are positive. So that leaves these other coordinates. And it's a bit initially unclear where this coordinate might be, right? How far do we have to go to the right, and how far do we have to go up to get there? Now, in order to make this really easy, I would suggest that you memorize 3 important values. That's all you need. I want you to memorize that the short leg is 1/2. The medium leg is √2/2, and the long leg is √3/2. And this will make sense in a moment. What do I mean by short, medium, and long? Well, let me show you. But again, I would suggest that you memorize these 3 values and associate them with short, medium, long. And I'll show you why right now. So let's take a look at this first coordinate right here. Now, the key here is to visualize a triangle. You'll start at the origin. You'll go horizontally as far as you need to get right underneath that point, and then head up vertically to get to the point. And what we've done is we've formed a triangle here. Now the x-coordinate of the point corresponds to this leg of this right triangle, and the y-coordinate of the point corresponds to this leg of the right triangle. And as you can see, the x that I've labeled is a long leg of a right triangle, whereas the y is short, right? So since the x is long, which is root 3 over 2, and the y is short, 1/2, this point has the coordinates root 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. And I'm going to skip this one just for a moment, and I want to show you this one, because if we do the same thing, if we draw a triangle, we'll start at the origin, we'll go horizontally, and then vertically to get to that point. And again, we've constructed a right triangle. But this time, the x-coordinate is short, and the y-coordinate is long. And so now, the point will be at 1/2 is the x, the short leg, and the y is root 3 over 2. So it's the same two side lengths, but they're just switched, the x and y coordinates. But what about that missing coordinate, the one sort of in the middle, corresponding to the 45-degree angle? Well, when we draw our triangle this time, we end up creating a triangle unique from the other ones. This triangle is an isosceles right triangle. More specifically, it's a 45-45-90 triangle. And as you can see, the two legs, which I'll label x and y, are both the same length, and I think about them as being medium, right? They're both medium length. They're neither short nor long. They're both medium. And the medium side length is root 2 over 2. So both the x and the y coordinates are root 2 over 2. And that's it. That's really the whole thing. Let's fill out the rest of these coordinates, but we'll really be doing the same general idea. Let's take a look at this one. So again, we'll start at the origin. We'll sketch our triangle. First, horizontally, we have to go to the left, and then vertically we have to go up. The x-coordinate, the horizontal length, is short, but it's left, so it's going to be negative this time. And of course, short is 1/2, so it's negative 1/2. Meanwhile, the y is up, and it's long, so it's going to be root 3 over 2. So our coordinates for this point will be negative 1/2, comma, root 3 over 2. If we look at the next one, this time the triangle that we make is another one of those 45-45-90 triangles. And you know, anytime we're doing one of these sort of middle coordinates, it's going to be that 45-45-90. So both the x and the y will be the medium leg. And those are root 2 over 2, but careful, because the x goes left, the x-coordinate will be negative, whereas the y-coordinate, which goes up, will be positive. So we have negative root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. Next, we'll draw our triangle. We go far to the left for our x, that'll be long, but our y is short. So our x is left long. That's negative root 3 over 2. And our y is short up 1/2. All right, we're halfway done. Let's keep on going. Next coordinate. Now, down here in quadrant 3, you'll notice that we have to go left, so our x will be negative. And we have to go down, so our y will also be negative. But besides that, it's the same process. Our x was long and our y was short. So we have the coordinate negative root 3 over 2, long, and then negative 1/2 short for the y. Next we have this triangle. X and y are both medium, so they're both root 2 over 2, but they're also both negative because we go left and down. So the coordinates are negative root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. Next, to get to this point, we go left, down, and as you can see, the x is short, the y is long, so our coordinate will be negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. 3 more. For this coordinate, when we draw our triangle, we go short to the right, long down. So our x is short, 1/2, and our y is long, root 3 over 2. But the y coordinate is negative because we go down, whereas the x coordinate is positive. We went right. So the coordinate here would be 1/2 negative root 3 over 2. On to the next. This one, just like all the ones in the middle, this is one of those 45, 45, 90 triangles where both the x and the y are the medium length, root 2 over 2. But x is positive, y is negative. So we have root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. Last one. For this coordinate here at 11 pi over 6, the x is long, the y is short. So long, we have root 3 over 2 to the right, so it's positive. And then y, we have 1/2, but it's down, so it's negative 1/2. And that's it, done. The whole unit circle filled out, and all we needed were these 3 values. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out my other videos, and take care.